So BlizzCon 2014 is underway right now, and I should confess right off the bat, I don't usually follow BlizzCon, and I think that's because I was never really hooked, I guess until Hearthstone, by a Blizzard game. I never got into WoW, I don't really play MMOs. StarCraft wasn't, I was more of like an Age of Empires kid, and then I never really played Diablo either, although now that I have all this free time, I'm going to try to dig into Diablo 3 a little bit. But they've made a really kind of unbelievably big announcement that after 17 years they're unveiling a new franchise. It's called Overwatch, and they had a trailer for it, a few trailers actually, one big cinematic trailer and one gameplay trailer. Now, this cinematic trailer, if you haven't seen it, I insist that you watch it. You can click right here to see it. Probably my favorite game trailer of the past year, at least, probably more. It just had this really... I know people keep using the word Pixar to describe it, but there's really no better way. It just, specifically, I think, though, it evoked The Incredibles, which is, like, one of my favorite, probably one of my 10 favorite movies ever. I love Brad Bird, and I love his sense of, like, colorful, zany, actiony fun. And they nailed that so completely. Like, this... I don't know. This trailer felt akin to almost like one of those short films you'd see before a Pixar movie, but even better, even more substantive, more world building, and really, like, this game is so tonally divergent from everything Blizzard has done. In some ways, right? But then in other ways, it's very much a Blizzard product. It seems very fun first. And yeah, I don't know. I am thrilled about this. And it's funny because I don't think I've ever felt excited about a Blizzard game before release before. I got into the Hearthstone beta and really enjoyed that, and that was kind of a surprise to me. But this is like my first time ever being actively hyped up about a Blizzard game, and I'm trying to pick apart why. I think it's the fact that this game has a sense of enthusiasm about it. Like, it just looks like it is there to be fun and have fun and wants you to have fun, and that's something that's oddly missing from a lot of games. Like this sense of just like playfulness, like that is absolutely a fundamental component of what we've seen of Overwatch that I wish more games had. Although I do, quick aside, need to say I think Overwatch is kind of a shitty name. It's a word that is just such a video game title. It's a meaningless sort of compound word that has like vague combat undertones but doesn't actually mean anything. I would have loved anything over. Even Titan was a better name than Overwatch. So whatever. That's nitpicking, I guess. So in that gameplay trailer, which you should also check out, I think it's unlisted on their YouTube channel right now. I don't know why, but here's a link to that if you haven't seen it. They show, I think, about 12 characters, actually, and show off bits and pieces of each of them. And there were a few that stood out to me as potentially interesting. If you haven't been to their website, I think it's playoverwatch.com. They've got in-depth character profiles for every single character. So, like, paragraphs of story summary, like what country they're from, their age, and how they fit into one of 4 different classes. I think every character is either an offensive, defensive, tank, or support class, which is kind of that emblematic Blizzard taking something that exists and boiling it down to a simpler, friendlier version, which is something I think they're really good at, actually. Like, Blizzard, better than anyone on the planet, can take genres that are presumably pretty hard to break into or a little intimidating from the outside, and make games that not only people who aren't already invested in those genres can play, but also make games that just have a lot of depth for the people who do know that stuff. Like, as a lifelong Magic the Gathering player who's been playing since 2003, I think Hearthstone is a better designed game than Magic. I go into that in another video sometime. I'm getting off topic. But yeah, the characters who stood out to me from those 12 are 2. One is Tracer. You see her right at the beginning of the gameplay trailer, and also she's really heavily featured in the cinematic trailer. But she has a couple abilities. One that you see a lot in both trailers is called Blink, which... like, it's actually called Blink, which is funny because that's exactly what it's called in Dishonored, but it's exactly what you think it is. She can kind of jump from place to place and use that to move around the map quickly. And then her other ability, which I think is even more interesting, or one of her other abilities, I should say, all characters seem to have about 4, is called Recall, which you also see in that gameplay trailer, where she can basically, when triggering this ability, rewind time a few seconds, and it resets her health, her ammunition, and her position on the map. So essentially, you are rewinding time in a live, like, real-time multiplayer game, which is a really cool idea, and not something I feel like I've seen before. Correct me if I'm wrong. Another character who really stood out to me is Bastion, who is that sort of robot guy, and his primary ability is pivoting between one of 2 stances, and one of his stances is just turning straight up into a mounted, shielded turret that, like, doesn't even look like a video game character. He just looks like a mounted turret that is firing itself. And then his other ability, which I don't think is shown in the gameplay trailer, but you can see in his character trailer, which is also unlisted videos on their channel that are available on their website. His other ability is the ability to self-repair, where he just sort of locks down, starts healing damage on himself, and then also has a really like hilariously obvious yellow like laser hard light caution tape thing that circles him, making him a really, really obvious target. I don't know, man. I am really, really pumped about this game, and it feels a little weird to be this excited about a game I haven't played, and maybe it'll be terrible, right? Like, Blizzard has never made a first-person shooter before. We have no idea how it feels or plays. But Blizzard is also a company who is not in the tradition of making bad-feeling games. Like, it seems like they don't know how to do that. They only know how to make games that are just hella polished and super refined, and this hopefully will follow in the tradition of that. I signed up for the beta, which I guess opens in 2015, which is kind of weird, I guess, because they dumped a ton of information, and the way that they showed it looks playable today, but I have to imagine that it's going to be just like Hearthstone, where the beta opens, and it's like, oh, this is done. Like, why is this not publicly available? I guess my main fear with this game, if I had to pick one, is a fear that we won't get to explore the universe of Overwatch enough. It's no secret that this game started out at one point as that Titan MMO that Blizzard spent 5 years developing and eventually scrapped. But my concern is that if it's going to be just round after round of team-based shooting, I wonder where the story will fit in. Like, I wonder if some of the great personality and world building that we see in that trailer maybe won't come through in the final game. I mean, Blizzard has incredible writers and incredible writing talent, and I have to imagine that they're gonna find a way to shoehorn that into what is otherwise a team-based multiplayer FPS. But right now I don't know how that works without just releasing cinematic trailers over the course of a year, kind of like Valve did with TF2. Like, I want it to be integrated more fundamentally than it is in TF2. They've shown with Hearthstone that they can take traditionally multiplayer games and work interesting single-player campaigns into them. I just want to see how they do it, and I'm fingers crossed that we get to learn more, because I love what I've seen of the characters and the personalities. Anyways, that's just my thoughts on the Overwatch trailer. I want to hear what you guys think about it, if you were as excited as I was. Maybe I'm alone, maybe I'm the only one who watched this and just like got really, really weirdly and suddenly excited for a game that I didn't know existed an hour ago. But yeah, I want to hear what you guys think. I want to know which characters you think are going to be the classes that you'll end up sticking with, because there's actually a ton of diversity in those characters. Like, the way that they move around the map in particular, like one is a grappling hook, there's the blink mechanic, there's the spooky dude who turns into a black cloud. They all look like they play very, very differently, and they all look potentially pretty fun to mess with. But I want to hear what you guys think of the game. I'll be talking to you guys down in the comments. But yeah, until next time, this has been me talking into a camera with no one else in the room. Still getting used to that. But yeah. God damn it, motorcycles! Damn it.